Yeah. So is it visible?
Yes, Aman.
Okay. Uh, so first of all, as you all may know, that labor laws fall under the concurrent list under the Indian Constitution, and therefore the Parliament and the state legislatures both have the power to make laws regulating labor and employment in India. So previously there were, and at present also basically, there are over 100 state and 40 central laws that are regulating various aspects of labor and employment, such as industrial disputes, social security, and wages. So the central government found such laws, the existing laws, to be more complex and inconsistent. So to battle such inconsistency and to provide ease of doing business in India, and also to ensure the uniformity under the labor laws, the central government proposed to consolidate 29 labor laws into four different codes. So the four codes are namely basically the Industrial Relations Code 2020, Code on Social Security, Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code, and Code on Wages. Through these codes, the government has focused to bring certain reforms which are such as uniformity in the definition of key terms, for example, definition of wage, removal of multiplicity of definition and authorities. So earlier, wage was defined differently under different labor legislations, but through this amendment and through the bringing of the new codes, there is a single definition of wage. Consolidation and filing of returns and maintaining registers under different acts. Previously, there were different acts, so different returns have to be filed under the acts, and also the registers were to be maintained. But by consolidating the labor codes into four codes, there are only few returns now that the employer has to file, and also maintain only certain amount of registers. The next point is providing a greater ambit and protection to a large section of workforce. So earlier the labor codes only provided protection to the employees who were termed as workmen. But now, apart from workmen, certain other terms such as gig workers, platform workers have been brought into the ambit under the Social Security Code, and certain security will be provided to them as well. Creating provisions for online registrations and filing. So the old laws did not provide for online registrations and filings, and everything has to be done by going to the labor officer or the respective authority. So now the registrations and filings can be obtained online as well. So moving on to the codes, I will take up all the four codes and provide you with the key changes that have been introduced under the codes. So first one is Industrial Relations Code. The major acts which has been replaced through this code are the Industrial Disputes Act, the Trade Unions Act, and the Industrial Employment Standing Orders Act. So the key changes under the IR code are as follows. First of all, the definition of worker has been expanded. So earlier, journalists and sales promotion employees were not included in the definition of workers. But now, through the amendment, they have specifically added journalists and sales promotion employees as well. Additionally, the apprentices are specifically excluded from the scope of the definition. So, in the previous laws or the laws which are currently in place, um, apprentices were included in the definition of workmen, and it was creating a lot of confusion between its applicability, because as you all may be aware, we have separate laws for apprentices in place. So the government this time has specifically excluded the definition, sorry, the term apprentices from the scope of definition of workmen. Secondly, the wage ceiling limit for exclusion of supervisory roles have been increased from 10,000 to 18,000. The major change here is the fixed term workers have been given recognition and they are now allowed to claim certain employee benefits which are being provided to regular employees on pro rata basis. And the fixed term workers are also entitled to claim gratuity if they are rendering service for a minimum period of 1 year. I think so. There's a typo here. It's 1 month, but it's actually 1 year. Certain other changes are increasing the threshold limit for closure, layoff, and retrenchment. So earlier, prior permission from the government has to be obtained. Prior permission from the government has to be obtained for obtaining closure, layoff, and retrenchment. Sorry. Oh. Sorry. So previously, for obtaining prior permission for closure, layoff, and retrenchment, the threshold limit of workers was 100, and which has now been revised to 300. Certain new concepts, such as concept of worker reskilling fund, has been introduced, where a fund shall be created and the employer shall pay an amount equal to 15 days of wages which are the last drawn wages of the worker and who has been retrenched in this fund, and the amount of fund shall be transferred to the worker who has been retrenched. So these were the key changes under the industrial relation codes. Now the second code we are going to take up today is the occupational safety, health and working conditions code. So the major acts which has been replaced are the Factories Act, the Interstate Migrant Workmen Act, the Contract Labor Act. The key changes under this code is issue of appointment letters to employee on his appointment in the establishment. Earlier, there were no regulations which provided for issuance of appointment letters to every employee. But through this code, now every employer will be liable to issue appointment letters to the employees with certain requirements which are being provided under the rules. Like there should be a mandatory Aadhaar number of the employee and EPFO registration number and certain other things. Applicability of contract labor is revised from 50 contract workers to 20 contract workers. Sorry. Yeah. So restriction on employment of contract labor in core activities of an establishment. Earlier, the government used to through notification provide that what are the industries or establishment where contract labor cannot be hired. But now the government through this code has specifically restricted the employment of contract labor in core activities of an establishment. So suppose if a company is a software development company, so you cannot hire a contract labor for development of software in that company. The next is providing periodical health examination to employees in certain establishments like plantation and establishments where dangerous operations are undertaken. Dangerous operations has been defined under the code, like certain factories or areas where the health of the worker is always in danger, like blast mines or any other establishment you can take. Next is enabling consenting women to work beyond 7 p.m. and working before 6 a.m. So earlier, this thing was regulated through shops and establishment where each state would take out their own rules and allow consenting women to work beyond 7 p.m. So now this has been included under the OSH code. Next is common registration for an establishment instead of separate registrations under current labor laws. Further, the definition of factory has been expanded to 20 workers for premises where the process uses power, and 40 workers where the process does not include power. The next code is code on social security. So the code on social security replaces major acts such as employees compensation, employees state insurance, employees provident fund, miscellaneous provisions act 1952, and maternity benefit act. The key changes under the social security code is recognition of gig workers and platform workers. So for better understanding, gig workers means someone who takes up part-time jobs or hourly jobs, and he can be someone who is working in a catering event, working in a shop, or a person who is a software development but is working part-time in such industry. And platform workers, as you all may be aware, the term platform worker means a worker working in an organization which provides specific services using online platforms such as Zomato, Swiggy, Uber. So, certain social security benefits have been provided under the code to unorganized sector workers as well. To obtain such benefits, the gig workers, platform workers, and all the other unorganized workers have to take a registration under the Social Security Code. Further, working journalists be eligible for gratuity on completion of 3 years of service. Earlier, the threshold limit of completion of years was 5 years for each and every employee, but specifically for working journalists, the limit has been reduced to 3 years. Fixed term employees will be entitled to pro rata gratuity based on term of their contract. So it was there in the IR code as well, and it has been provided under the SS code as well. The last and the most important code for the employees is the wage code. So the major acts which have been replaced through this code are the Payment of Wages Act, Minimum Wages Act, Equal Remuneration Act, and Payment of Bonus Act. The major change under the code is the change in definition of wage. So now the definition of wage is something which you can look on the screen. I would read it out. Wage means all remuneration, whether by way of salaries, allowances, or otherwise, expressed in terms of money or capable of being so expressed, which would, if the term of employment expressed or implied were fulfilled, to be payable to a person employed in respect of his employment or of work done in such employment, and shall include basic pay, dearness allowance, and retaining allowance. So now the definition of wage specifically provides that while calculating wage under the codes, we have to include the basic pay, dearness allowance, and retaining allowance. The definition also provides for specific exclusions, which are statutory bonus, value of house accommodation or water, light, medical attendance or emergency, anything, house rent allowance, commissions, overtime allowance, conveyance gratuity. These all will be excluded from definition of wage. However, the point here to note is the components which are here in red, if they exceed 50% of the total remuneration being provided to an employee, the excess of 50%, suppose 5%, would be added while calculating the wage. Suppose the components in red are 55% of the total wage, and the 45% consist of basic dearness allowance and retaining allowance. So whatever the access may be, like 5% here in this case, so it would be added in the definition of wage. Certain other key changes under the wage code are the introduction of concept of floor wages, uh, according to which wage will be determined by central government after taking into account the minimum living standard of worker in a manner to be prescribed, which may be different for different geographical locations. Earlier, while fixing the floor wages, the government took into consideration the type of employment. So now for different geographical areas and different requirement of the people, the government would fix the minimum floor wages, and the wages cannot be fixed lower than what has been prescribed by the government under the floor wages. Further, the code provides that employer shall pay for every hour or part of an hour so worked in access at an overtime rate which should not be less than twice the normal rate of wages. So the wage code also provides